Hi giggers, I am back. Hopefully you can hear me nice and clear now and I'm not having to shout at our switcherboard for a microphone. So here we are, we're in the Ladies A race, second race of the day at Looe Regatta. So just to give you a quick insight on why Gig Row are here today. We're here purposely for testing reasons. We're investing a lot into brand new gear, which is going to help improve our streaming for the championship. So we're purposely only here today for trial and error, testing out some new bits today. But we thought we might as well come down to Looe. Such a beautiful spot. Weather today, just a slight bit of mizzle, but it's flat as a pancake out there. And we're zooming in on the Ladies A race as we speak. So currently leading this race, I can see from the drone footage there, you've got Carradine just storming away. What looks like is Charlestown just behind, probably about a boat length and a half. Carradine now just making a turn into the first mark. So this course is a kite course, so there's 3 marks today. So it'll be quite easily on the marks. So the first mark shouldn't see many clashes today, as it's a big circular turn that you essentially have to do here. But well, let's see what happens. There's a big clump of boats yet to come in, so beggars be choosers. It might actually have something entertaining on the mark, but let's just see what happens. But that's Charlestown, as predicted. I could just make it out who they were coming around that first mark. So coming up in third place there, that is, looks like Ilfracombe in Rogue. Fourth place, we now have Bude, very distinctive, a Cornish flag on the front. You can't miss that. Just behind them, you've got a Looe. So making sure he's nice and clean, not going to hit the Bude boat in front. You've got a just on the inside of Looe there, Rame coming up doing exactly the same saying. On the outside of Looe in fifth place, you have a Dart. So this is where it gets interesting. The second Looe crew have seen obviously a bit of a clump on that and have just rowed past it. Weymouth has seen the same in that bright green boat. So it'll be interesting. They might have pipped up a few places there. If they're smart about it, they can row pretty hard and fingers crossed get ahead and then try and get on the inside of them. So it'll be interesting to see how these crews break out when it gets to the second mark. It looks a fairly lengthy way. We measured it last night, obviously, to see where the drone distance is and how far the drone can go. We're looking about just over a mile out from where we are. So you're probably looking at about 2.4 nautical miles of racing today. So it'd be really interesting to see what happens at the second mark, because a bit of a mixture. What I thought Weymouth and the second Looe crew might have gained some ground there, but they haven't. So still currently leading this race is Carradine in the far head. Second place we've got Charlestown. Third place we have Ilfracombe. Fourth place Bude. And then there's a bit of a fight there for fifth place currently between which was Dart. Apologies, I can't see the boat now because obviously I'm only relying on the drone footage as we speak. But stay tuned for later on today. We're hoping to get the long race around the island. We're going to be based on the boat, so I should be able to tell you quite clearly who's leading and obviously in positions. So do forgive us. Today is purely just for a trial, as we're testing out some new gear in preparation for the Ladies Championships and Men's Championships in Newquay, end of August and second weekend into September. And obviously in the future for World Championships in Scilly, which will be really good. So here we are at the second mark. So Charlestown and Carradine have gone around. Now Ilfracombe gone super wide and then cutting it in super tight, so they're nice and closing the gap. Apologies, we're losing signal on the drone there, so fingers crossed we'll get a feedback again. Obviously might be an issue of obviously distance for us at the moment. There we go, we're back on the game. So I can see obviously Looe, Dart and a bit of a tie-up with a Rame there. That is perfectly legal. The bow can obviously hit in between the coxswain and the sixth rower. So if anything, it's just helping the boat turn around quicker ahead. So do forgive us obviously for lack of connection at the moment. Obviously this is a new location for us to film at, So it's all just teething for us, so we know what to do next time or next race and where we need to be. So we'll wait until we get a good connection back. So there we go. So leading back of the pack. What's really interesting to see, even throughout this race, hasn't turned into a normal procession, which we normally get on a two-boy race. Normally everyone's sprinting to the first mark, get tied up on the first mark, and then spread out afterwards, breaking away from the first mark. But what's really nice to see in this race, you've got a cluster of 5 boats there, well, 6 boats, sorry, which still got a chance there to gain some ground and pip up some positions there. So as they're racing down to the 3rd mark, this is the final mark, Carradine are just, you can just see on the top of the screen there, just completely dominating this race ahead of a Charlestown, and then Ilfracombe behind in 3rd place, and then you've got that cluster of 6 boats. So there's a bit of competition there for currently 4th place, with those top 3 boats on the left-hand side of the corner, depending if Rame can catch up. What's quite actually interesting there, Rame have got red blades there, so I might question if that's actually a Rame crew. It might potentially be Carradine rowing in Rame's boat. A very distinctive red oars that Carradine have there, so it'll be very interesting to see if that is Carradine. I can see blue, so a lighter blue, whereas Rame is darker blue. I would believe that could be a Carradine crew rowing in a Rame boat. But they're actually gaining up, so apologies with gig rowing, anything happens and everything changes quite frequently, so I thought they might not be able to claw it back, but they are now having a bit of a tussle with Dart to the right of them and Looe on the left. They're coming in and coming up hot, so it would be interesting to see if they can gain some ground, but the issue they've got is Dart in front of them, not going to be moving anytime soon, so there's not much of a gap for the coxswain to get through there. But Steve's there just flying up to the 3rd mark. As you can see, Carradine have already gone past it. You're probably looking at about 10 boat lengths ahead of Charlestown. No one to contest Charlestown there, looking super cool, looking calm. They know the camera's out, so they're making sure that the rowing looks good. But they'll be super chuffed with where their position is at the moment, and all they need to do is just keep it at that rate and keep digging deep. But they're probably looking at about 12 boat lengths ahead of this next pack. Like I said, that we were following this pack on the way up. It was quite interesting to see these boats all close together still. Normally you see a line of gigs where the position's going. So it'll be very interesting to see who's going to get 4th, 5th and 6th here. So coming around the mark now, that's Rogue, that's Ilfracombe, comfortably in 3rd place. They just need to keep ploughing it down, just make sure that no one catches up. Currently now in 4th place is Looe. So interestingly, it is Carradine, or rammed straight into that buoy there. They're going to use that as a bit of an anchor and try and swing them around. But they're still fighting for 5th place. So you've got Carradine, you've got Dart, you've got Looe on the outside there. Quite make out on the screen who's there also fighting for 5th place, but Weymouth there coming around, and they've got another group of boat on the far side keeping clear water, all turning in reasonably nice. The coxswain's seen when a Coat Hill have just turned, and then as soon as they've turned, Padstow have made the call to make that big turn, and Bristol. Unfortunately, Bristol there cutting it in a bit too tight, and they've had to turn outwards, so that's going to slow them down ever so slightly, but fingers crossed they can get back on track. And then you've now got Brixham just ahead of Catwater from Plymouth coming around the mark now. So that's all these boats now racing down to the finish line. So a big old clump here. Forgive me, obviously, I'm looking at a screen of a drone here where it's fairly small for me on this screen, so it's hard to pick out who's in the lead. But I can tell you from where I'm sitting at the moment, Carradine there racing up to the finish line. They've probably got about 40 strokes in it until they finish. But it'll be really interesting to see out of these boats who's going to finish where. because there's a big fight. Because Weymouth now, have made a big push. There's a chance for them to catch up. And Tristan's quite a light boat. She's very nice, perfect for these sort of conditions. Had good chance of rowing her at Weymouth Mix Grand Prix. Lovely boat to row. So there we go, Carradine there, coming over the finish line now. Super happy. I don't think they're going to stop. I think they're just going to row straight into the beach. Well done to Carradine, who've just finished in first place. So about 8 boat lengths behind them, we'll have Charlestown. But the real race is for 5th place at the moment and 4th place. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens. Really good to see Looe there on the right-hand side of a dart. Looe been out on the outside of this race all the way round. Obviously having to row longer than dart, but they've managed to start inching now. Coxon's probably giving a good shout now. It's like every stroke real push forward. So you can see every stroke they pull, they're moving, I'd say half a foot every stroke, which is pretty good. And like I said, when I said about Weymouth coming up, and there they are, they're making the push for it. Really good to see. Nice bit of racing near the end of the race. So just quickly to the front of the track, Charlestown have already gone past the finish line, so they finished 2nd place. We've now got Ilfracombe coming over the line. They've got 5 strokes and they're secured 3rd place. 4th place is going to be Looe. That's Looe Ladies A. And then just behind them, which I believe is Carradine rowing in Rame's boat, which they've borrowed. In 5th place, Carradine. Another Looe crew in 6th place. And then Weymouth made a real good effort. Took over 1 boat, but didn't quite get dart. That's dart next, followed by Weymouth. I believe that's Weymouth again. Sorry, not Weymouth. Dart again on the boat on the right-hand side. But forgive me, it's very hard to see who that is. Okay, no worries. So unfortunately, we're going to have to bring the drone in now because we're running low on battery here. So just quickly, what I can see from here, Padstow, followed by Bristol, followed by Brixham, and then in last place there we've got Catwater from Plymouth. So we're just going to bring the drone in quickly now. We're going to cut the feed here. We're hopefully going to try and put some GoPros in. We might not necessarily go live with these today. We're just obviously just practicing, so you mainly just purely just get drone footage today. But